this builds off of yesterday, so we're going to do the same. I'm going to add a step at the beginning, okay? And then we're going to work it the same way we did yesterday, and then I'm going to add a step at the end. All right? So that's basically what the change is. There's going to be a new step in the beginning and a new step at the end, but the middle is exactly what we did yesterday, which was why it was so important that you had to make sure you understood yesterday's lesson. All right? Are we ready?
We ready, I guess.
Okay. So, and these I can't make up off the top of my head quite as easily. So, just get my laptop here. Does everyone have this written down? We ready to go? All right. 5x squared plus 12x minus 32. All right, so the first thing we always have to do, we didn't have to do this yesterday, except until the very last problem, okay, but what makes these different is that the beginning number is not a 1, all right? So notice our front number now is a 5, right? Mm-hmm. It's something other than 1. So I told y'all yesterday we weren't going to have to always check for a GCF because the beginning number would be a 1, so there wouldn't be a GCF. But with a number other than 1 at the beginning, we have to check for a GCF first. Okay? So, to check for your GCF, the easiest thing to do is to look at the smallest number. What's the smallest number up there?
12, 5.
5. Okay, 5 is the smallest number up there, right?
Yes.
Will 5 go into every number that's up there?
No.
No. Is there another number other than 1 that'll go into all 3 of those numbers?
Yes. No.
Other than 1.
No.
Mm-hmm.
What goes into 5, 12, and 32?
Oh, into 5. No.
4 goes into 5?
Oh, I thought you meant just 12.
Oh, no. We're going to look at all 3. So there's not a number that goes into all 3 of those, is there?
No.
Okay, other than 1. And it's pointless to factor out a 1, right? So that means there is not a GCF here. Okay, so we're in the clear. So what we're going to do now is, in order to factor this, what I'm going to do first, before I teach you how to actually do it, is I'm going to show you the hard, complicated way so that you can appreciate the easy way first. So you don't need to write this next part down. I just need you to bear with me and understand the whys behind all of it. Okay? So I'm going to do this by what we call is backwards box method. Okay? So that y'all can kind of see that process. So y'all saw how I did box method back when we were multiplying, right? A lot of you looked at it to see if it was one that you kind of liked. Some of you just liked the distributive better, right? You didn't want to draw boxes everywhere. So I'm going to do backwards box method here. So I'm going to make a box. Now, box method, to do regular box method, I would have numbers on the outside that multiply to give me the inside, right?
Is this the only way to do it?
No. Again, this is the hard way.
No, I meant for the hard way. Do you have to use box?
This is the one that makes the most sense, the hard way. There are other ways to do it. For instance, the way I learned in high school was probably the most complicated way in the world. And when I discovered the shortcut, I was like, are you kidding me? Nobody showed me this. So, I'm not going to do that to y'all. I'm going to show you the hard way because you need to understand how it works, because the shortcut is a shortcut. It's not mathematically correct. It works every time, but it's a shortcut. Okay? So, let me show you the mathematically correct way so you can understand the process of it. So again, for box method, I would normally start with the top and the side and multiply them to get the insides, right?
Mm-hmm.
But since this is backwards box method, I need to start with the inside to find the outsides, okay? So which of these numbers would have given me the first box?
5 and x.
The
No.
5x squared. Remember, this is one whole
Mm-hmm.
thing, right? So that 5x squared would have given me, would be in the first box, right?
Mm-hmm.
2 numbers right here would have multiplied to give me 5x squared, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
what would have given me the last, what number is gonna be the product of the last two numbers in the fourth box?
Wait. say that
Which
again.
one of these numbers up here would belong in this fourth box?
Negative 32.
Negative 32. Sorry, I worded it really weird. Alright, now, these two boxes end up being what?
12. Wait, never mind.
They're added together to give us 12. So you were part right, Zoe, don't worry. You were part right. These two go together to make 12. But we learned yesterday that it can't just be any random two numbers to make the 12, right? They also have to add or subtract to make the 32. Okay? But here it gets a little bit more complicated because there's a 5 up here also. Alright? So first, let's figure out how to make the 5. Okay? Let's figure out how to make the 5 first. What's the only two numbers that multiply to make 5?
2.1 and 2.5.
2.5 times
Oh, yeah.
2.5 is 6.25. What are the
1 and
only...
5.
Thank you.
Why do you say 6?
The only two
Adding,
numbers...
okay.
The only two numbers that multiply to give us 5 are 1 and 5. Actually, I'm going to do this in a different color. Please. I don't know what color this is. But how about I get x squared?
Make it the x's.
X and x. So do I need the 1 right here? No, but I'm just going to keep it there for visual sake. Okay? And that's the only way to get 5, right? 1x times 5x, correct? That's the only way to get 5x squared, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, no other way to do that. All right. Now, we got to figure out how to make negative 32. Okay, so let's give me some options on what's a number that we can, two numbers we can multiply to get negative 32.
2, negative 16.
84.
So 16 and
Negative 2.
16 and negative 2, so a positive 16 and a negative 2. Now, let's see what we get in these two boxes and see if it makes this. So what would this number be in this box?
16 is
16 times 1x. So what is 16 times 1x?
16
And what would this one be?
Negative 32.
Negative 10.
Right, negative 2 times 5x is negative 10x. Well, what's negative 10 plus 16 make?
6.
Negative what?
Not 12x, right?
Yeah, right.
So we can't use 16 and negative 2, can we? What about negative 16 and positive 2? Should we try those?
You're gonna have like a will.
I mean, we can.
Why is it back to that color?
I don't know what.
Alright, so if I do negative 16 and positive 2, that's going to make this 16x a negative, this negative 10x a,
Positive.
and that's going to give me
6.
negative
Negative
I don't know.
6x. You take the sign of the bigger number. Still not 12, is it? So 16 and 2 are out. What would the next factors... That's way too big.
Wait, why do we have a negative 1 again? Sorry.
Because we're trying to get a negative 32.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that was 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we've done... Did we try 1 and 32?
I mean,
No, we didn't try those, but is it going to work?
no.
No, it's going to be way too big, right? Or too small. Because if I put the 1 here... Well, actually, there's something else we have to try on the 2 and 16. We had the 16 up here, didn't we?
Yes, ma'am.
And the 2 here. Couldn't we put the
2 there.
2 with the 5
I guess.
and the 16 with the 1?
I do suppose.
Okay, so we put the 2 here and the 16 here. Which one do you want to be negative first?
The 2.
Alright, so if I let the 2 be negative and the 16 be positive. This is going to be, what's 16 times 5?
Jeez.
A big number.
big number.
A really big number, and what's this going to be?
A small number.
And a big number minus a small number
No, it's
Still
is
big.
not going to be
No.
12, is it?
No, it's not.
Okay, what if I make
Is it
this
80?
positive
It's not gonna work.
and this negative?
It's not gonna
There's
work.
no big
It's
16
not
and
gonna
It's not going to work, is it? Yeah, it's not going to be 12, right? Okay, so now we can officially rule out.
Are we going for negative 32 or 12?
We got to go for the middle number. We already have them. They have to multiply to make negative 32
Okay, yeah,
here.
that's what I was asking.
But we're trying to make these two make,
Do they still have to add or subtract? Okay. Never mind. No.
well, they'll technically subtract because it's positive and negative. Alright, so that didn't work. So 2 and 16 are out. What would come after 2? Does 3 go into 32?
No.
No. We already decided that that wouldn't work, right? It's going to be way too big.
4 and 8.
An 8.
4 and 8. So where do we want to put the 4 first? With the 5 or the 1?
5.
Okay, let's put, y'all, shh. Let's put the 4 with the 5 and the 8 with the 1. Which one do you want to be negative?
4. The 4.
Alright?
Fuck you.
And we'll leave the 8 positive. Okay, so what's this box going to be?
Negative 4x.
Wait, it needs to be.
And what's this box going to be?
40x.
40x. So 40 and negative 4 are going to make
36.
36. Okay? So now that's not it. Let's try
So the
making this positive and this negative. What's this going to be?
negative 40x.
Negative 40x. And this will be
5.
4x.
20.
Still going to make negative 36, right? But can we completely rule out 4 and 8 yet?
No.
No, now we need to switch their places, right? Okay, so we need to put the 8 here and the 4 here. Which one do you want to be negative?
4.
Okay. And the 8 positive. So this is going to be,
8, and then mom's gonna be negative 20. It's gonna be negative 12.
Well.
but what do we want? Positive 12. So we need to switch.
Flip this.
So this needs to be a plus, and this needs to be a minus. So that's going to make this a,
Negative
and this a, which is going to give us
12.
positive 12. So now we look up here. We look up here to get our parentheses. So the first parentheses would be 5x minus 8, and the second parentheses would be x plus 4.
That's the final answer. That box.
It takes a lot of, we call this trial and error. You tried something, it didn't work. You tried something else, it didn't work. You kept trying until something finally worked. Now, that took us a little while. It probably wouldn't take you as long if you were working by yourself, but that's more of a logical thing. You have to know how to do all of those things and how box method works really, really well. And a lot of you didn't do box method when you were doing the multiplying, right? Y'all did distributive property. And I would show you that method, but it's real complicated. I'm talking real complicated. So we're not even going to waste our time on it. But this is the logical method of going about it. Finding what works, what multiplies to give us the correct answer. Notice, my answer didn't end up being x and x this time, did it? Because we have to multiply 5 and 1 to get 5x squared, right? So now let me show you the easy way to do it. Again, this way is not, like you can't do some of the things I'm going to do with all math. This is one of those shortcuts that somebody found, tried it on every problem, and noticed that tried it on a very large set of problems and noticed that it worked every time. It's a really handy shortcut, and we would be silly not to use it, right?
Just like that time we tried the problem that was like 30 minutes.
Yeah,
long,
but at
we
least
like,
this time I told you that it was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least you
Alright.
didn't just
I'm
make
still
us
kinda mad
believe
at
that
you.
that was the way we were
Right.
going to do it.
Right.
I like that.
All right, so that was the complicated way.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now let's do the shortcut. So I told you the shortcut. It's the same thing we did yesterday with step in the beginning, a new step in the beginning, and a new step at the end. So here's the first beginning step. We want to make it look like a problem for yesterday. What's different about this?
There's a 5.
There's a 5 at the front. So what we got to do is get rid of the 5 at the front. Well, we can't factor it out because it doesn't go into all of them, right? So what we're going to do, this is the first step that technically is not mathematically correct, but it works. We move it to the end
Oh.
and multiply it by the 32.
What? That's so big.
So we're no longer going to have 5x squared. We're now going to have x squared plus 12x minus, and what's 32 times 5? Right. 30 times 5 is 150. 2 times 5 is 10. 150 plus 10
Wow.
is 160.
Okay.
All right, now it looks like a problem from yesterday, doesn't it?
Kind of.
Okay,
You did have a
so it's going to factor into 2 what?
parentheses.
2 parentheses. What's gonna go at the beginning of
X.
each? X and X. I see a minus, so I write what word? Subtract, and every time I write the word subtract, I write the word
Different.
different. What does this word different tell me?
Different size. So it has to be
That each parenthesis is gonna be different. Doesn't matter which one goes where.
No.
No, as long as one of them's a plus and the other's a
Minus.
minus. It will matter where we put our numbers though, right?
Mhm.
Alright, so now all that's left for the easy part is to find what number goes here, right? Alright, so we have to find factors of what number?
160.
160 that subtract to make 12.
Ew.
Alright, so 1 and 160 obviously is not it.
2 and 80.
2 and 80,
No.
no.
3
Go
does
lower.
not.
This is a great time to use your calculator, so you can
Oh,
type.
no.
Calculators are overrated.
So you can like type in 160 divided by 3. Will 3 go into 160?
Four and
4 and 40.
Okay,
No.
so 3 doesn't go, but then you got 4 and 40, which is not it, right?
there's a 5. There's a 5.
There is a 5, y'all. Again, this is one of those things where we don't skip around. Now, if you look at it and you immediately know, that's fantastic, okay? But not everyone can just think of them off the top of their head, right? Right. So 5 and
32.
obviously not it, but we're getting closer, right?
I guess.
6, will 6 go?
No.
7,
No.
8,
Yes.
8, and 20. And what's 20 minus 8?
12.
Which is what we were trying to get, right?
Correct.
Alright, so, are you kind of catching on, Kate?
So plus 8 minus 20.
Yes? Okay. So, but does it matter which one goes where?
Yes.
What kind of 12 do we want? A positive 12. So the bigger number, which is 20, gets the positive. So the 20 goes here and the 8 here. Are we done?
Yeah.
No.
With the easy part,
It doesn't
remember,
look like the other problem.
it doesn't look like the answer we got earlier, does it? Okay? Now,
What answer did we get?
Mine's X plus something.
Okay.
alright. But either way, if you were to go check yourself, x times x is what?
X. Oh. 2X.
We need 5x squared. Alright, so remember I told you there's going to be a new step in the beginning and a new step at the...
And
What's going on? Getting too excited. Alright, so we did our new step at the beginning. Now let's do our new step at the end.
Okay.
I'm going to change colors.
Ooh.
So we took the 5 to the end, right?
correct.
By doing what?
Multiple.
Multiplying. We now have to bring it back by dividing. And we're going to divide these two numbers.
Oh, it does.
So we're going to put, nope. So divided by, what number did we multiply by?
5, so it's 4.
Hang on, don't get ahead of me.
Sorry.
And divided by 5. Now, this is what we call, so the other method I showed you, the backwards box method, I told you that was trial and error, right?
Yes.
That was what that method was called. This method is called slide and divide, or divide and slide. So, we divided, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it will divide, divide. If it won't, slide.
Slide.
So dividing also means reducing a fraction. Alright? Because these are technically fractions too, aren't they?
I guess.
Now, 20 over 5, that divides perfectly, doesn't it?
Yes.
But it also technically reduces to 4 over 1, which is just
4.
4. So I have x plus 4 here. Alright, now, 8 over 5, will it reduce? No. Will it divide? No.
You slide.
So we slide.
They drop.
Again, this is another one of those things, mathematically, it should not work.
But it does.
But it does, so-
Suck it, man.
They're Wait, great where is person.
So we slide the 5 in front of the x, giving us 5x minus 8. And there's our answer.
Whoa.
Round.
I know, right? Like, it's pretty brilliant. Some people call
It's
this,
completely random too.
it really is. Like, that's why I say,
How do you
like,
come up with that?
mathematically, this does,
That
should,
should work.
it should not work, but it does every single time.
Oh, dude.
Okay? So, Why would I not show you? How much faster did we get done with that problem?
Like a little bit, like about.
Well, we're doing it as a class still, so it's still.
I mean,
So it still took a little while,
Still
but
takes
like
way
by
too long.
yourself, like this right here, it's exactly what we did yesterday.
That's the.
This really wasn't that complicated, right? You just multiplied two numbers. This really wasn't that complicated, right? You divide it and you slide it. Okay?
What is that?
Listen, I'm from Mississippi. We don't say slid.
Slid it.
You slided. Okay?
Like a chicken.
You divided and you slided. So, it works. And that's the answer. Is that not the same thing we had earlier when we did it the
Is
long
it?
way?
I mean, like it's
Yes, it is.
Oh.
It is. Y'all can go back and watch the video later if you want to fast forward. Just double check you can. But it is. We actually got 5x minus 8 first and then x plus 4. But again, does the order of the parentheses matter? No, because multiplying is, what's that word? Which property? Commutative. All right.
That was not.
So now that we know the easy method and we understand how it technically works and how you have to find, now you're not only finding factors of the last number, but also factors of the first number that make the middle number. So now we understand that whole process. We can go through and do the easy part so that we can get our answers right. Okay? Wore me out.
That was weird.
Quite a lot.
How do you know the difference between the two?
Between what?
Like the easy and the hard ones.
There's a number at the front.
Yeah, but didn't we like just divide last time?
Yeah, so the first thing you always do when you see a number at the front is check for a GCF.
Oh, get that one.
Oh yeah.
If there's not a GCF, then that means it's a hard problem. There is a GCF. There's a possibility that it's easy, but not necessarily. All right, next problem. Woo! Man,
It's like a workout. My
it
head.
really was.
My head is.
A workout with my, I got a little out of
Flex
breath.
that mental
I don't want to use B.
Yeah, just use that.
Okay,
I don't like the
I've
weird
got
letters.
I like to use X.
Yeah, me too.
If we
But be careful on Schoology and make sure that you put the correct letter.
Wait, but if we take like, there's a
If you
test
accidentally
paper-
do it on a test, it's fine.
Be careful.
Put X on all your answers instead of, like on Schoology, it might say A, B, V, M, okay? You have to type in the correct letter on Schoology, but if you accidentally do it wrong on the test, I'm not gonna count off.
Okay.
You put X instead of A, that's wrong.
But I mean, they're all variables.
A
Yeah,
letter
they
is
all
a letter,
don't.
no
It's
matter how
like-
big or small.
I mean, if I wanted to let it be represented by the picture of an apple, I could. Like, I
You
won't,
should.
because that
You
sounds like it
should.
would take too much time. Okay,
You should.
so the first thing we always check for is a what?
Greatest common factor.
Greatest common factor. We look at our we look at our smallest number first. What's the smallest number up there?
3.
Will 3 go into all 3 of those numbers?
No.
No, it only goes into 3.
3.
Is there a number smaller than 3 that goes into all 3 of them?
No.
1, but we don't count 1, right? Alright, so is there a GCF?
No.
No, that means this is what kind of problem?
Harder
A
one.
hard one. So what's our first step?
We get the 3 and
Turn it into an easy problem. And how do we do that?
You get the 3 and you multiply by the negative 40.
No.
You slide, so you slide and multiply the front times the back. Alright? Now the last problem I multiplied by 5, but that was because the first number was a 5, right? This time I'm going to multiply by 3 because the first number is a 3. So that's going to leave me with x squared plus 7x minus
120.
120.
We're trying to get it to equal 7, right?
Yes.
Okay, I think I got
So now this is an easy problem, okay?
easier.
This subtraction sign is going to tell us to do what?
Subtract.
Subtract.
Different.
So we write the word different, very
There's
good.
a lot of multiples for this one. Multiple?
This is going to factor into 2 what? What always goes at the beginning? X and X. The word different means our signs are going to be
Different.
so one's a plus, one's a minus. Now we got to go through and find our factors of 120. So obviously the first one is,
1 and 120.
is that going to give us 7?
No.
No.
2
Two
is
is-
60.
Is that going to get work?
No.
There's a lot.
4 and
3 and
40.
3 and What am I doing?
40.
40, is that gonna work?
No.
4 and 30.
4 and 30.
Whoa. 5 and 24. Why are there so?
Is that gonna work?
No.
Nope. 5 and what?
24.
No.
We're getting closer though. I mean, at least we're down into the teens now instead of.
15. I think
6
either of those
and
numbers are
20?
15.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's gonna give us 14. We're still closer.
It doesn't.
No 7. It's 8.
7 doesn't go.
8 and 15 is next.
8 and 15. And what is 15 minus 8?
7.
7. Okay, this is one of those situations where the calculator comes in handy, right? Uh-huh. And again, because that number is so big, that's why I tell y'all, like yesterday, some of you were like, why are we listing all of them out? Those are like easy numbers like 6 and 8. Because I knew we were getting to numbers like this, where you needed to know the process of how to do this. If you just skip around, you might accidentally skip the correct number, right? If you start at 1 and have a process, you're eventually going to get the right answer, right? Now, do we need to go all the way through all the factors?
I mean,
No, we could, but when we're doing the factors, we're subtracting them at the same time to see which ones give us the right answer, correct? And it is 8 and 15. Doesn't matter which one goes where.
yes.
Yes, we want what kind of 7?
Positive.
So the bigger number, which is
15.
15, needs the positive. So the 8 gets the negative. Is that it?
No, you have to divide by.
No, this was a hard problem. We
Divide
now
and
have
slide.
to.
Divide and slide it.
And what are we going to divide both of them by this time?
Trace.
3, the number that we originally multiplied by. If it will divide or reduce, divide and reduce. If it won't, slide. So will 15 over 3 divide or reduce?
Yes.
It will divide
X plus 5.
5.
to 5. Will 8 over 3 divide or reduce?
No.
So we,
Slide.
3x minus 8. When's our next music video?
we're going to see if we actually are able to get to it.
I got it right. But it's your last year.
I know, I'm going to try really hard to make sure we get to
I
it.
can go all
We can just do it with
You can
this.
just skip a lesson.
Fine. The
Yeah.
It'll be in the next chapter. It'll probably be after the 8th grade trip though.
When is the 8th grade trip?
April 24th through the 26th.
This is your.
Why
This
do
is
you
off
put
track.
Wait, when do we?
May something.
This is
Huh?
2 days.
This
Yeah, it's a Wednesday and Thursday. It's 3 days. A Wednesday, a Thursday, and a Friday. So you won't have to come to school that day.
not know this?
So wait, what is it?
Watch it.
All right. So are we done now?
No.
Yes.
Yes, we are. And you can remember you can check yourself by just multiplying those. You can just multiply the first 2 and the last 2 to make sure they match up. It doesn't hurt to do the whole thing, but if your first 2 and last 2 match up, you're probably okay. So x times 3x is 3x squared. 5 times negative 8 is negative 40. So if you had 4 and negative 8, obviously you would be like, oh, that didn't work. Okay.
We are done.
Are we?
No, we're not. Is there classwork to do?
We're going to keep working these problems because I've got some more.
Small. You have a small. Is there like
I've
another
got
step you're gonna
small.
add in or something?
Yeah.
What?
Dang.
Wait, for real?
Yeah, we got to do GCFs.
Kids? Oh wait, we did that yesterday.
Yeah, but GCFs are hard.
Struggle
All right. I'm going to give y'all a problem, and you're going to do it all by yourself. 7x squared plus 62x plus 48. The bigger your number is in the middle, the easier it's going to be to find.
Okay, thank you.
Because that means that you're going to be multiplying.
Oh, that's gonna make it even bigger.
Well, yeah, but
Is that really gonna make it easier?
I mean, it
It's
might.
also get all over complicated.
No, this doesn't.
like if you're doing 7, that's going to be like numbers like 15 and 8. We had to go through a long list to get to a small number, didn't we?
Yeah.
But all the bigger numbers were at the beginning, right?
But you gotta multiply 7 and
You're still-
48.
Yeah,
Spoiler.
it's true. Spoiler.
You're smarter than me. I do calculus.
I have a ton of just kidding.
Yeah, I actually got the last one.
I got the last.
I mean, I have some of the blue calculators over here, so they still do the division part just as well. So you're always welcome to use one of those. No.
What makes 62 unright?
Now, Kate, on these, notice there's no subtraction signs, right?
Dang.
So this is gonna be, instead of the word subtract, you would write the word
Dang.
and then same, and so same means that the sign in both parentheses will be the same. So they're either gonna be both pluses
Literally,
or both minuses.
Word.
It's whatever sign's under the word same.
Oh my.
Dang.
I'm getting close. I'm at 50.
You're at what, 15?
Wait.
Wait,
Oh, wait. What? Oh, you gotta add. Oh, that's right.
Okay, so what do we do again?
Dude,
After
heckin'
you did
guess.
that, and like the x plus.
you gotta find the factors of whatever you have as the, remember you multiplied 7 and 48, right? You gotta find factors of that will add to make 62. So that's where the calculator comes in handy.
That will add to make 62.
Yes.
Oh, duh. I just
Oh,
went all the way down to 14 and 24, and
Isn't it?
I'm just really stupid for it.
I just put in the first number that made sense, and it made sense.
no, it's not 2.
So what's the answer? I don't know.
But then you gotta do 7.
We're saying so that bigger number needs a negative, right?
They're both positive.
They're both positive here
I
because,
think you always change it.
you see how this is a plus sign? That means you're gonna have to add. And every time you write the word add, you write the word same, which tells you both of them are gonna be whatever this sign is. So they'll both be plus.
I'm done. I think.
You're never done.
I was doing the wrong number.
Wait, if you have 6 over 7, you still just slide it, right?
I was doing the whole number.
6 over 7, yeah, you would have to slide that.
Redo this.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15,
The
16.
Georgia age to drop out 16, so we're almost there.
Yay.
We're almost there.
Oh, wait,
Why would you talk about a 16? Why not just like finish it? You don't really.
Rebecca?
Like you're so close.
No, a lot. Some.
Because it's like 2 more years.
What am I saying?
Stop being salty about like
I'm gonna be 16 when I'm a
School's
sophomore.
not that bad.
not.
that is.
It's a year.
Found it, boom.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a 16 when I'm a sophomore.
Alright, guys.
2 years.
I need to go down more.
Should be close to getting done, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and start the process, so if you're not done, just don't look up.
Don't.
Wait, Miss Finn,
Yes?
once you get to like the numbers that go in the parentheses, what do you divide by?
The whatever you multiplied by in the beginning.
See
Oh
then.
yeah, okay, sorry.
See then. Act. Yeah.
What in the world are you even saying?
He said 7, 8, 9, and like
you
a
only
weird.
German.
German.
That's what I learned from Mr. Brewer.
All we learned.
I was supposed to go to 100.
I didn't even learn.
Oh yeah.
That was a good joke.
It's
Really
okay.
fun with the camera.
You'll have to get.
That's pretty funny. Anyways,
Wait, you learned?
Anyway.
no, I taught myself.
What if Mr. Brewer's watching?
Haha, Bubba, I'm done.
Just ask that.
So what if Mr. Brewer's like listening to the video?
Oh, I thought you said, I wonder what Mr. Brewer's last name is. I was like,
That too.
Do you know what
obviously
last
his
name?
first name is Mr. and his last name is Brewer.
What was his first name?
Like Chad.
How am I supposed to know?
Obama. It's Obama.
Obama Brewer.
That's
Alright, stop talking.
7. You skipped 6.
Yeah, the one that actually fits it.
You missed
What I did, oh, I did skip 6.
Yeah, 6 is the one that I used.
6 is the one you're trying.
Yeah, 6. No, 6 is not the one I used.
6 is the one I
The one I used because it worked the best.
Wait, did I use it?
Alright.
I did use it.
6 is the answer.
Okay, I used it.
Yours down.
Hey guys, too much. It does not matter this time because they're both pluses.
Yay.
Now I'm not done, I still have to go back and slide and divide. So first I'm gonna divide both of them by the 7 that we originally multiplied by. 6 over 7 does not reduce or divide, so we slide. So is it always the second parentheses that slides?
No.
No, obviously not. Whichever one doesn't divide. And 56 divided by 7 is 8.
7x plus 6.
I'm roasted.
Alright, so we feeling pretty good about it? Not
Yes.
too bad?
Feeling
I'm
great.
feeling pretty.
Alright. Let's kick things up a notch.
Can we like kick them down a notch?
Yeah, let's
No, we
kick it
kicked
into
it
the
down
jerk.
yesterday.
I was about to say, well, we can just kick them out.
We can just like not kick anything and just stay right there.
I'm down to play some kickball.
No,
Oh,
Dang it.
you gotta hold, rewrite the whole thing.
Oh, I know one of the seventh graders you're gonna be teaching.
okay.
Sorry.
Alright, move on.
Okay.
That was so off, like off.
Well, I just so I said.
Alright, so what I want you to notice here
It's just a 9 and
is, right, that's a 9 at the beginning, and a 27 and an 8. First thing we always have to do is check for a what?
Greatest common.
GCA.
Alright, so the smallest number is,
8.
will 8 go into the other 3?
No.
Or into the other 2?
No.
No. Is there another number smaller than 8 that goes into all 3?
not
Yeah.
smaller.
No.
Okay, no bigger number goes into all 3 either.
Wait, it goes into what?
All 3?
It's not 3, never mind.
Okay.
No.
Say smaller because nothing
I thought you
bigger.
meant that just goes in. I thought you said it goes into 27.
Oh, no. Alright, so there's no GCF here, right? Now, the other 3 problems we did, the first one, the front number was a 5.
Uh-huh.
The second one was a,
3,
and the third one was a,
7.
what do those numbers have in common?
They're all odd numbers.
What else?
They're all.
I don't know. They're all odd.
They all it goes up by 2.
I have no idea.
5,
Six by
3,
two.
and 7.
They were less than
They're
10.
all prime.
Yeah.
Is 9 prime?
No.
No, this is when we have a composite number. So, you know how on all of those, when we did the slide and divide part, none of them reduced? Chances are, when your first number is composite, your fractions, whenever you do the slide and divide part, are going to reduce.
So we don't have to slide. We just divide.
Well, you have to reduce, then slide.
Really?
Yes.
What-
Alright, so, we still started out the exact same way. I know I'm pushing it
Wait, that seems like
with your attention, but just...
not.
Okay, so we still have to multiply 9 by the 8, and we're going to get
72.
x squared minus 27x plus 72. Now it's an easy problem, right? Y'all. The plus tells me to,
And
and when we add, our signs are the,
Name.
so it's going to make 2 parentheses. Beginning numbers are, the signs are both, what's under the word same?
Oh.
Minus. Remember, you look under the word same to decide what they're both going to be. Now we have to find factors of
72.
that add to make 27. Again, we're not looking at negative 27 because we already took care of the negative part, right? We're just looking for factors of 72 that add to make 27. All right, so obviously it's not it. 2 and
30.
I'm 30.
6.
30.
That's 38, so no. Will 3 go?
Yes.
3 and 24.
3 and 24, and 3 plus 24 is,
27.
so that must be it. We don't need to keep going, do we? Does it matter which one goes where?
No.
No. So 3 here, 24 here. Am I done?
No.
We have to
Divide by 9.
divide by the 9 we multiplied by in the beginning. Now, will 3 over 9 divide?
Yes.
it will reduce.
No, but it will reduce, okay?
Read us.
So x minus, and 3 over 9 reduces to,
1 over 3.
Oh, hold on. You wouldn't
hang on, I'm not done yet. And now over here, 24 over 9, does it divide? But will it reduce?
Yes.
I guess.
Yes.
What?
So x minus, what goes into both 24 and 9? 3 goes in, so 24 divided by 3 is 8, 9 divided by 3 is,
3.
we can't leave fractions like that.
Dang it.
But you have to reduce them first, and now, because neither of them reduce to a whole number,
Slide both.
we have to slide both.
Oh, snap.
So the 3 now goes out front here, and the 3 goes out front here. So that's going to give me 3x minus 1, 3x minus 8. If we did not do that and reduce them, we would have slid the 9 over, right?
Mm-hmm.
and the 9 over, giving us 9x and 9x. Well, does 9x times 9x make 9x squared?
No.
But does 3x times 3x?
Yes.
Yes. So you remember when we did the really long, complicated trial and error one? When we were doing the first box, the only two numbers that multiplied to make 5 were 1 and 5, right?
Correct.
Are the only two numbers that make 9, 1 and 9?
No.
No, that's why this one's a little bit different, okay? So I told you, chances are when your first number is not prime, you're gonna have to reduce and then slide. All right? You wanna try one by yourself?
No.
Can we do one that like,
Yes.
like it,
With the GCF?
yeah,
We're gonna do one more of these and then a GCF.
okay.
Do not pack up, we still have lots of problems to work.
Yeah.
At least 2.
You guys are
My
probably
clock
getting
is fast. Don't worry about it. We go bell to bell.
Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
What kind of noise is that?
What kind of face is that?
All right, y'all go ahead and work this problem. Really? It's impressive.
What if I just guessed randomly and got it right? Probably would.
Please don't.
Dang, thank you.
I mean,
Very annoying.
the chances of you doing that are very unlikely, but I would be impressed.
I wouldn't.
So what you're saying is
Like,
you want us
into
all
the
to guess
lottery.
right now?
No.
See what I.
Everybody gets a different number.
Y'all guess is slightly different.
Somebody might get it right.
Somebody
Might.
might, or she's.
But see, it still isn't guessing. It's got to be an educated guess. Like you obviously wouldn't pick 3 and 4,
Okay.
because would 3 and 4 make 9? No. So you still would have to be smart about it.
I come from the land.
You never know with your class.
I'm tired, man. It's really every year this lesson it gets me hyped.
Then don't teach it.
No, I like it. I like that it gets me hyped. I love this is what I live for, man.
Oh, wow.
This is
Wait,
literally
you don't
what
get to teach it to
live for?
7th graders though.
Well, this in God, but yeah.
Okay. No,
Yeah,
but
that's a
this
close second.
lesson, besides God, is what you live for.
I don't know. Just
You
wait.
live to teach this to every kid you can.
Oh wait, you
Stop
can't
the
teach it
random
next
person
year.
on the street. Hey,
I
I
might.
have a math lesson for you.
So teach it anyway.
If you wanna have a really advanced
Pay
class.
attention, pay attention.
Right.
Okay.
Really
so,
advanced.
here's the hard way. And then.
In Rebecca's class, when I taught her,
Which
Rebecca. Not that
Timmy's
Rebecca.
sister.
She's in this class right now.
their desks were like in a U shape going around,
why?
and I like ran around the room. I was so excited about this lesson. I did.
Can't do that
Did you
anymore.
really?
I really did.
You bring like a whiteboard to the street. Okay, so this is the really hard way, but there's a shortcut. You start
Pretty
teaching
much.
random people
Well,
this
yeah,
lesson.
yeah.
You should do that.
It was really
Street
exciting.
math.
Street man.
My Algebra 1 teacher in high school, she walked across our desks.
Oh, you should do that.
You should
I'm
not.
scared.
Get off. Don't.
I'll
No.
walk.
If y'all's desks were a little bit bigger, I might
Yeah.
would.
Don't they do it at that school y'all go to?
I,
Yeah, Ron Clark.
they make you go to.
But their desks are bigger. Like they have like tables, and
Our desks are good.
they're a little bit sturdier.
Yeah,
Like
our-
I think he intentionally buys tables that are super sturdy
Yeah, all of our
because
desks
he
are
knows
fine.
that he's going to walk across them.
Yeah, if I was
Because
a
you
teacher
can't
there,
walk
I
in the
just-
middle. You have to walk on the edge so you
No.
don't walk on their stuff.
Whatever.
So he has to buy them where he knows that the
Wait,
edge
what
is like
is-
super
what are
sturdy.
these
Or just
numbers
don't
that
walk
add
on the
up
desks.
to?
What?
Negative
Just
seven.
off the desk.
Y'all hush, hush.
It's normal.
You're adding to make or this time to see it's a minus, Kate. So you're not adding this time. This time because it's a minus, you're subtracting to get 17.
I'm done.
That's why we write those words add the same and subtract different.
D-U-N.
Shh. I'm gonna go ahead and start working. Go ahead and get my calculator.
Is it true?
No.
Oh, wait, it's fine. I knew it.
What?
Might not get to a GCF one today.
What a shame.
I just won't put any on your classwork.
We need to do it for homework or like tomorrow.
It's called.
No, I didn't have anything up for today's.
I
But
bet. Bet.
You bet.
I said I.
I thought you said bet.
I don't say bet.
You just did.
Shut up.
Mm.
3 and 9, okay, move your fat head.
That's not that fat. Just a little closer.
people in
No.
I didn't say that. Oh, I thought you said Miss Ben. I was like, I didn't even say nothing.
You won't. You thought Miss Bay.
You got this. I've heard that story so many times.
What?
The one about
You
when
thought.
Oh, duh.
his phone.
That makes you feel dumb.
Yeah.
Like you get all you're like,
Oh!
Well, yeah.
I'm real stupid. Did you get it wrong?
Alright,
No, I got it
27 is gonna go into minus this time because we're getting a negative 17.
Are you joking? I put it the wrong.
Gosh dang.
Well, lucky for you, that would only been minus 2. Minus 1 for each
But wouldn't that
parenthesis.
make like the final answer wrong?
Yep.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It would just be minus
Oh.
because it's only gonna change the sign on it.
Dang.
10 over 9 does not reduce, so I can go ahead and slide it. 9x plus 10. 27 over 9 reduces to the whole number 3. So this is a situation where it didn't have to reduce down, but that's because the number it used was 9 and 1. It's when it uses a number, one of the composite factors, so like the last one, 3 and 3, is when you're going to have to reduce and slide.
Hold on, wouldn't that bring your grade down 3 because you would have had the 2 things wrong and it would have been the wrong size?
Don't give her any
No,
idea.
because this would have ended up being a minus, and this would have been a plus. So I've just taken off 1 point here and 1 point here.
But I'm talking about the final answer would have wrong.
Because if this was a minus instead of a plus,
If you're right.
then this would be a minus. And so I would only take off 1 point for this.
Oh,
for you
I
to
was
get
thinking,
the
I
sign
was
back.
thinking the wrong thing.
All right. I